Hi, Giuliano. How are you?
Hello everyone. Hello Monica. I'm good. How are you?
I'm also great. So it's great to have you here, and thank you so much accepting our invitation.
Yeah, happy to be here and happy to talk with the TMS community.
Yeah. Also, just before starting the podcast, I and my public also really want to know about you. So it's great if you can introduce yourself.
Cool. Well, I'm Juliano Costa. I'm originally from Brazil and currently I'm a developer advocate at Datadog. I've been in this position for 1 year and a half. Before that, I was a software engineer. Um, I don't, well, I'm Brazil. I live in Austria. I've been in Austria for almost 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, almost seven. And I've been working with OpenTelemetry for the last five. So yeah, I think.
So that's interesting. So I just wanted to know, like, very specific because we don't talk that much about it. Like, how your journey, like after the college, and where you have studied for your undergrad, and how the journey starts, and what's the point when you have decided, okay, the tech is for me, and then I can continue with it. So how that it look like for you?
Okay, yeah. To everyone that is listening, I was talking with Monica before in our warm up, and I say that I talk too much. So maybe that's one of the questions that I will talk too much. So please bear with us. So I grew up playing basketball, and when I reached the university level and I wanted to go to university, I decided to study physical education. So I'm actually graduated in physical education. I can be a school teacher and teach like sports and stuff. And when I started working with that, I didn't like doing that. Like I liked playing basketball. I didn't like to teach sports and like physical education in general. And then at the same time that I was, I think about 2 years in my teaching role, and one institution opened in my city, and they were offering technical of informatics. I think the free translation would be something like that. And I was like, okay, yeah, I like computer. Maybe I'll learn how to format PCs, install Windows, and the Office tech, the Office um, software and stuff. Okay, I'll do that. When I did the test and joined the course, and then in my first class, I learned that actually I would learn how to program, and I didn't have any contact with programming at all. And in my first logic class, where the teacher was explaining kind of basic programming logic, she was explaining in Portuguese. And I felt in love about that. So like I really could see myself programming for the rest of my life, and that's I really invested my time and dedicated myself in this course. It was a 2 year course where I learned like the basics, and then the first year was focused on Java. And in my first semester, I started working at Hewlett Packard, HP. And I worked in Brazil for 3 years. Then we moved to Ireland. In Ireland, my wife and I, we were just improving our English. And then after 1 year there, I started looking for jobs in the Java field, which is where I had more experience. And that's how I landed in Austria. Well, I first landed not as a developer. I started here as in Austria as a product specialist, where I had to teach customers how to use the platform that I was working with. And after 1 year in that role, I kind of had a customer that was using Kubernetes.
Okay.
And I was kind of, as I was teaching customers how to use the platform, and the platform was really broad, I had to know kind of a bit of everything. And this customer was really pushy on he was really not knowledgeable about Kubernetes, and he was like really pushing my knowledge, like, hey, but what about this and what about that? And I didn't know that. And then I started kind of cool. And then I thought, okay, maybe I need to learn better. Then I started learning Kubernetes. That's how I got into the CNCF community. I've enjoyed Kubernetes. Then after learning Kubernetes, I switched to a R&D role in that company where I started software development. But I think after 2 months in working with Kubernetes, the focus of our team switched to OpenTelemetry, and then I started working with OpenTelemetry. And since then, I've been working with Hotel for short.
Wow, that's great. And when we talk about the Kubernetes, right? So the first thing that comes in our mind, because okay, when you are learning Docker, then the Docker documentation is very easy, right? But when you are jumping into the Kubernetes, it's so different. It's very difficult to understand. So how's your experience with Kubernetes? Because in starting, it's very overwhelming, right? So
Yes.
how was that for you? How you tackle the all problem, and what these problems were?
I think I have good. I have a good answer for that. So first of, I tried to learn Kubernetes twice. The first time that I tried, it was a Udemy course, and the first part of his course was kind of developing this. I think it was a React application, and he always lost me in this first part of his workshop, his training, and I was like, this is not working. And then I found, well, I'm not getting paid for that, but I found Munsha Manambet from KubeCloud, and his course was so great. I really enjoyed and learned a lot with him. So I did the three courses that was at Udemy when I was doing it, kind of the Kubernetes basics, and then the one focused on CKA and the one focused on CKAD. And after that, I did the CKA, which is the Kubernetes certification for Kubernetes administrator, whatever that stands for. But I took it, I passed, and this really changed my life. I had a chance to meet Munsha at last KubeCon in London, and I said, hey, thanks, man, you just changed my life. Because as product specialist, I wasn't enjoying and not coding and not doing the things that I like. But as software engineer, I actually had a chance to get my hands dirty and do the things that I like. And that's when I also started the community that we have here in Linz, the Cloud Native Community Linz.
Yeah. So as you have mentioned that you got a chance to meet that person in the last KubeCon. So which one was that?
KubeCon London, KubeCon EU, yeah.
Okay, I was also there. Sorry, we didn't get a chance to meet, but hopefully in the upcoming one we'll meet.
Yeah.
So one thing, you are a CNCF ambassador, and I'm also a CNCF ambassador. So I think we can relate much about everything about the open source project and the communities. So right now, as you're working as a developer advocate at the Datadog, so how this community will help you, as you just said, you love talking to people. So how that helps, and what's the one thing that motivates you to do that thing again and again?
Okay, so first, I really enjoy talking with the community. So being with the community and having the meetups, and so let's take a step back. Meetups are a different type of community than KubeCon. So at meetups, we have 30, 40, I think our max was 56 people in one place, which is great, but because you can kind of practice and test talks, because the community is, the number of attendees is low, so you can really feel comfortable and you kind of know them, and you have this ongoing thing that we run meetups every month, so we kind of know each other we've been doing that for almost 5 years now.
Yeah.
At KubeCon, you have like thousands of people, so you don't know everyone, and like presenting at stage is totally different. But for me, as at Datadog, I'm focused on OpenTelemetry, so I'm a developer advocate focused on OpenTelemetry. So for me, is really great all those different audiences, because in one, I can, as I know the person, I can get into more details into their pain points, and in the broad one, they kind of we have our first interaction, and then we start building from there. And again, as I'm focused on OpenTelemetry, I want to hear their pains, so I can give this feedback back to the team and improve our solution. So that's basically my job, getting the feedback from the community, bringing to the team, improving the platform, and then showing that to the audience. But actually, I usually on my talks, I focus on open source stuff, because I'm always presenting in cloud native events. So I don't use Datadog to kind of to showcase our solution. But I think it's important to Datadog to have someone as me representing Datadog in the open source space and in the open telemetry space.
Yeah, so that's great. Like I'm also agree with you. Like if you really wanted to, connect to your users, then it's the community is a great way to connect with them, because you get to know their opinions about your product or the open source initiatives you are doing. So like you're an ambassador. So before becoming an ambassador, so you were doing these CNCG meetups, right? So can you tell us, like, because I think most of the people wants to become an ambassador, or if I'll put in the good words, is that they really want to contribute to the CNCF and they really want to make an impact. So before becoming that thing, what you have done, what's the thing you are doing, like as you said, you are doing community meetups. So except that, are you doing something else that stand out or that really helps to make an impact in the CNCF?
Awesome. Yeah, great work. Great question, actually. So I was running the meetup, and I always had an eye on the ambassador thing, but I never qualified for the thing. So I should, but I never applied to it. And then I don't remember the dates, but it's my third year as ambassador, so it was, I think, 3.5 or 3 years ago. We started a project. I was working in a project internally in the company that I was working, where we were building an OpenTelemetry demo. And in this OpenTelemetry demo, we had a bunch of microservices all talking with each other, and we wanted to showcase OpenTelemetry in that demo. Then at the same time, the OpenTelemetry community they were discussing about, hey, let's create an OpenTelemetry demo for the community that all vendors can use to showcase their solution. Because in the same way the company that I was working had this demo, other companies also had their demo. So then all of them were investing time and money and engineering time in developing this. But at the end, everyone needs one. So everyone needs a demo. So why don't we join forces and create one master demo and have that? So then we started this project. Today I'm one of the maintainers of this project. So I've been contributing to it since the beginning. And that's when I actually saw that I would qualify to become an ambassador, because now I run the meetups, and I talk about CNCF stuff, and I contribute to OpenTelemetry. So now, then I thought, okay, with those three things, maybe I can become an ambassador. And that was what happened. So that was when I applied. After that, I also helped with the OpenTelemetry certification. So that also adds to my Pokemon badges.
Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. I mean, yeah, that's so cool. To help in this certifications and all. So, okay, there are a lot of people. I know most of the people are contributing to the Kubernetes, but there's a lot of project that needs contributors, right? So most of the people don't know about the open telemetry. Hope so, most of them. But I really want you to, just talk about little bit what's open telemetry and how people can contribute to it, and or the most important thing I wanted to know how open telemetry, how they can use open telemetry in their projects, like students or the professionals, how it can help.
Cool. Okay, I guess just asking, but your audience is mainly DevOps folks, platform engineers.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so because OpenTelemetry can be used by developers when they are developing their application, they can instrument their code to produce telemetry. But it can also be used by DevOps engineers and platform engineers, whatever you call it, the role, where let's say you can, depending on the language that you are developing, you can use a component of the OpenTelemetry project that's called OpenTelemetry Collector. No, sorry, it's the OpenTelemetry operator. And using the operator, you can auto-instrument your application. So let's say that you have an application in Java, in Node, and another one in, I don't know. Well, let's say that you have front end with JavaScript and backend with Java, and you could deploy and you are running this in a kind of a Minikube or K3s, whatever, locally. You could deploy the operator and tell the operator to instrument your application, and just with annotations, the operator would be able to inject into your pod and add OpenTelemetry into the pods. So then when your application starts, it would produce traces, metrics. OpenTelemetry would capture traces, metrics, logs, and send to somewhere. And then you can also configure. So there are, once those three signals, we may have a fourth coming up, which is profiling. But once those three signals are produced by our application, then you can choose to send somewhere. OpenTelemetry, what really the one of the biggest changes that OpenTelemetry brought to the industry is that in the observability field, all vendors were kind of competing into the best solution to instrument and produce telemetry data. With OpenTelemetry, kind of you now have the OpenTelemetry solution to do that. So OpenTelemetry is doing that and producing this telemetry in an agnostic format, and it produces the telemetry data in the OTLP format, which stands for OpenTelemetry Protocol.
Okay.
And then you can send this data to somewhere else. So you can, let's say, configure to send to Jaeger, as Jaeger is also another project on the CNCF landscape to visualize traces. You can send to Datadog, the traces, the metrics, and logs, and then you could visualize all this data into, as you are using, not as you are using, but once you send this data to your observability backend, you can visualize it and navigate through this data and help troubleshooting your application. Let's say something crashes, you would get a trace with an error, or I stand within that trace with an error, and then you could navigate and investigate where this error comes from, or what is triggering, everything that happened before, everything that happened afterwards, and things like that. So, and another So we have the instrumentation part of OpenTelemetry. We have the operator, and there is another tool which is also the OpenTelemetry collector. So the collector, in this scenario that I told you, we had two services. So usually when you are developing something locally, you don't have like a huge architecture. The OpenTelemetry demo, in the OpenTelemetry demo, we have, I think 15, 16 different microservices, each one written in a different language. So it's not an example of how to do microservices in production, but it's a great example of OpenTelemetry because we can showcase OpenTelemetry in all different languages. All of those microservices, instead of sending the data directly to the backend, they send the data to the collector. The collector process all this data, so we can do transformations, we can do enrichment. The collector has a lot of cool features and cool capabilities. And then once all of that is applied, then you can send to a backend, send to multiple backends, fan out your data. So let's say that you want to send traces to Jaeger and Datadog, you could do that. You want to send logs to, I don't know, S3 bucket, and also to Datadog. In Datadog, you would have the retention policy that you configure, but in S3, you could leave there for, I don't know, a year or 3 years, whatever your policy is. So you could, all those configurations, you could do using the collector. So the project itself would give its own podcast, actually a bunch of episodes. So I'll stay here.
Because if we'll go deep, then there's a lot of things like integration and how it's easy to integrate with different applications. So that's huge. But like if someone wants to contribute to the OpenTelemetry or this project, or maybe just, is it easy, right? Or we can get help from the maintainers or the community people there?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best communities that I've worked with. Well, actually, I like that about the CNCF space in general. All my experience with Kubernetes was great, and with OpenTelemetry is the same. So we have, the OpenTelemetry project is split between SIGs, special interest groups. And we have multiple SIGs. So let's say that you have experience with Java, JavaScript, C#, I don't know, Rust, you name it, Go. There are SIGs that are focused on those languages, and they are doing APIs and SDKs for those languages. They are doing all the instrumentations for those languages as well. There is the operator that is mainly written in Go that takes care of this automation of instrumenting automatically and deploying. You can deploy the collector with the operator as well. The collector that is also written in Go. And we have the demo that has a bit of everything. So the demo is, as a demo maintainer, I would say that the demo is the easiest one to start. We try to keep all the services up to date and all the dependencies up to date, and we try to have traces, metrics, and logs to all services. But that's not what we have today. So as of today, we have an open PR from someone that was working on adding logs to a Go service, for instance. So this is something that OpenTelemetry delivered some time ago, but we didn't have time to implement on our services, and a contributor just arrived and started contributing. So how this contributor approached us is something that I will suggest to your audience. He opened the CNCF Slack. There is an OpenTelemetry demo channel. He joined and said, "Hey, I'm starting with OpenTelemetry. I saw the demo. Is there anything that I could work with that is Go related?" And then I got back to him and said, "Hey, in Go we have this and this services, and they're missing login. Would you like to try it? And he tried and started. So he got his first instrumentation in I think last week, and now he's doing his second contribution now. So
Wow, wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. So I think whatever the project it is, just join the community and just ask to people if you have any questions. So that's, I think, the best way to contribute or to get started. Also, Giuliano, I saw that you have organized KCD Austria. So can you share your experience? How is it like? How much efforts it takes, and what's your experience organizing that?
Cool. Yeah. Well, I want to give a couple of highlights first. The first KCD, I didn't have time to invest on it, so I wasn't part of the organization the team, but I was a volunteer during the event. So that was my first year. Last year, I was part of the organizers, and this year I'm not part of the organizers again, but I'll explain why. So last year I joined the organizers, and it was about 9 or 8 months of work. We met regularly every week to discuss things that we're missing. We had a great, I would say, lead organizer that was keeping track of everything and pushing us. So I was part of a group focused on speakers. So we were creating all the emails that we sent to the speakers, but also the things that like the information that goes on the Sessionize page to kind of, hey, where to focus, things that like that, and then evaluating the talks. And once the talks were accepted, organizing the agenda, and then making sure the event goes well. But in the event, I wasn't focused on speakers. I was more focused on the overall
whole operations.
Yeah, exactly. And helping, like, physically organizing stuff. So, like, where this goes and like that. It was, I think, a good event. From the feedback that we got, everyone liked it. So I can say that it was a good event. We had, I don't remember the exact number. I think it was about 400 or 400 something people.
Wow.
And it was in a cinema, which was the first year, last year, and this year will be as well. And so we had 2 rooms with 2 different tracks. Last year we have done workshops. This year they decided to not have. It was a lot of work and an extra day, so it's too much.
Yeah, right.
We were a big team. I think about 8 or 10 people working at different things, like each one focused on different areas. We have like people taking care of the money, people taking care of media and like posts and stuff. I was part of the ones focused on speakers. So, and there was a legal, like doing contracts with sponsors and stuff. So it's a lot of work. Why I didn't join this year was that last year when I was part of the speakers, we decided to not have organizers speaking at the conference.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, come on, guys, I want to speak. So then this year I decided to leave. I don't know if they decided to not to continue with that decision or if they would drop, because again, it's their decision. But this year I decided to not be part of the organizing team because I wanted to speak. But what happens is that KCD, well, it's not KCD anymore. It's Cloud Native Days. Cloud Native Days Austria and Cloud Native Days Denmark. They were on the same date, and I got accepted at Denmark. So I'm going to Denmark, and I didn't get the reply from Cloud Native Days Austria. But if they accept my talk, then I will have to reject because I already accepted Denmark.
Denmark. So. Yeah, because here in India, I have a lot of friends who is more into speaking and attending conferences as a speaker. So the Austria one is on their list. Like, yeah, we want to speak at that event because it's a very big event there, and everyone wants to experience the Austria as well, and the speaking thing as well.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I would say that it's a great event. I really wanted to join, but yeah, I couldn't wait, and I had to give an answer to Denmark. So I decided to accept, and now that I accepted, I won't drop the acceptance there to come here.
Yeah.
So I just say, okay, yeah, I committed to them, so I'll go and present
It's
myself.
it's on the same date.
Same day. Like the year has 365 days, and they decided to do the event on the exact same dates. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah, they can just talk before deciding the dates and all.
Yeah, I think
Because
it's
I think it takes 1 year, right?
yeah.
To prepare all of that.
I think it's more about venue
Hmm.
availability. So when the venue is available to allow you to run the event and everything, so things are like they try to get the venue set as soon as possible. And when it's set, then you have the date. It's like KubeCon. They already announced the two next years.
Yeah, yeah, right. Also, like you have just said, you left as an organizer just to just to speak at the event. So just wanted to know, like, there's a lot of people who want to, speak, who wanted to talk about the tech, and who wanted to be a speaker. I got a lot of messages. How can I be a speaker? So I just wanted to know from your experience, like, what's the one thing that helps, and what's the best thing that really you should have when you talk about any topic and when you are representing any technology at like international level.
Well, I would say that try to talk about things that you like. I think that helps a lot. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you have to talk about other stuff, and this is fine.
Right.
But then when you have to talk about other stuff, try to use that stuff. Try to break things. Try to kind of try to put your shoes. Try to put yourself on the shoes of a user. So
Right.
okay, I want to talk about I don't know. Let's say Istio service mesh. So I want to spin up a cluster. I want to install Istio. So I'm gonna open the docs and go through the step by step. Will that work? Okay, yeah, it worked. Fine, cool. Okay, so what did I get out of here? Yeah, this is working. This is great. Things that call out your attention in that setup, or so kind of you can. I, I think you can go into two. Well, there are multiple, but I see two main paths on talking. One
Yeah.
talk where you talk about the technology itself.
Right.
So like, hey, I'm gonna talk about Kubernetes. We don't see much of those talks being accepted anymore because people already heard about Kubernetes and people already know about Kubernetes.
Right.
And then there are the other talks like lessons learned or when everything went wrong. And those
Right.
are the talks that I'm mostly excited about it. So like,
Right.
okay, yeah, this. So we deployed Kubernetes in production and we got offline for 3 hours. How did we solve and what went wrong? So this is
Right.
something nice. Like people want to hear your story because it's unique to you. You faced that. You saw that problem, and kind of only you has that knowledge to share because it's such a unique experience, something that happened to you that
Right.
that this actually extra qualifies you to be the presenter of this story. And just going back a little bit on the Kubernetes thing that I said that we don't see much talks about what is Kubernetes, yeah, but
Yeah.
Kubernetes has, I think, a release cadence of 6 months. every 6 months we have a new version, right? So there are, of course, talks about the new stuff that are coming on. So like,
Right.
this is the new thing that is on version. I don't know which version we are anymore, but yeah, like the latest release of K8's how to use XYZ. So this is something interesting as well.
Yeah, I really agree with. I also tell somebody because any talk wants the confidence. If you are really confident about the topic, if you know in and out of any topic, then I think you are great to go. Then you just naturally got that experience or got that confidence to talk about that specific topic. And it's not I think so it's not about how good you are at some topic. It's about what you have faced, what's your experience with that thing, and what. So that's what really matter, and you don't have to be perfect every time.
Yes, yeah. This is a perfect line, actually. Something that I want to stress. You don't need to know everything, and you don't need when you have Q&A at the end. You do not need to know all the answers. If someone asks you something about your talk or about the technology that you are presenting, and you don't know it, it's fine to say I don't know. I'll do some research, or here are some links that you can check, or hey, get in contact with this community on Slack, and maybe they will know the answer. So things like that is just like it's good to be comfortable with what you're talking, but then you do not need to know all the answers. This is also important because sometimes that kind of blocks people from going on stage because they want to, they feel that they need to know everything, and it's not exactly that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of my friends, they are like, oh, Monica, I'm not, expert in my field, and till I'm not expert in that thing, I'm not going to speak about it. What if someone asks me the question? Like, okay, if someone asks you a question, then you can just tell, okay, we'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll see how we can tackle this question as well. So that's another way. Because I'm also the person who is not an expert in some technologies. I'm like, okay, I need to build something, and if I have to use any technology, then I will use, right? So right now the mindset is, and I hope so people will also think like that, because tech changed a lot.
Yeah, and just an example on that. Well, I have two examples on that. One, I've been presenting and talking about OpenTelemetry for 6 years, five to 6 years. And 2 months ago, I was at Dash, the Datadog conference, talking about giving a workshop, a 3-hour long workshop on OpenTelemetry. And I got questions that I don't know. So I just answered, hey, sorry, I don't know that. I'll do some research and then I'll come back to you. This is a total valid question, total valid answer. And second, sometimes you have questions that are not related to your talk at all. So I was at KubeCon, I was actually at the Observability Day, which is a co-located event at KubeCon, Europe now in London. I think it was May.
It's in April, yeah.
So I was there, and then I was watching a talk where the presenter was talking about OpenTelemetry, and her presentation was great. And at the end, during her talk, she spoke about something about Prometheus.
Yeah.
But like, we are using this and that component that we are doing whatever with Prometheus. And then someone came in and said, hey, in the Prometheus thing, have you seen XYZ, or why isn't Prometheus doing that? And she was like, yeah, I don't know. I used A and B. You are asking me about D. So like, sometimes we have questions, like weird questions, and that's also fine.
Also, one thing, like you have mentioned, you are talking about OpenTelemetry like 4-5 years. So there's a lot of misconception about the developer advocate role. So can you just break that role, like how this thing works? It's not always about just the title name. It's what's the behind that role. What kind of expertise it really needs?
I think this is one. Well, as I said, it's my first time as a developer advocate. I've been talking about Hotel for 5 years, but I've been a developer advocate for 1 year and a half. And this will actually depend on the company that you work for. At Datadog, I have the chance to have a big team of developer advocates, so I'm learning a lot with them, and we do a lot of different stuff. So it can be content writing, so you can write blog posts or studies about the technology that you are working with. You can do video and share like YouTube sessions or whatever, or tutorials. You can do webinars with customers where you go through their implementation of this technology. You can do talks. So talks is just one thing out of all of the things that you can do. And at Datadog, we do something that is really cool that I haven't seen before, which is when we find someone from the engineering team that has a nice story to tell, we work with them so they can present the talk. So it's not all about me going on stage and presenting and talking about the technology, but also enabling the engineering that is solving the giving the person that has the expertise all the help that he needs on CFP and preparing the slides and actually doing a dry run before he goes on stage. All of that all that preparation, we kind of help them so they can be comfortable in going on stage and talking about their story, because they are the experts on the field. They are the ones breaking stuff. The thing that I said about at the beginning when we were talking about different types of talks.
Right. Cool. So yeah, that's really great. Like we have discussed about the communities, open telemetry, and the speaking and everything, and your journey as well. So last topic, and then we will wrap it up. I really wanted to know about the Datadog. How's your experience with the Datadog and the culture, and how's it?
I really like it. Well, I work fully remote, so it's something that I missed a bit, kind of the interaction with, more interaction with folks. In Austria, we have 3 employees, myself and other 2, and they're based in another city. They're based in Vienna, and I'm based in Linz, so I don't get to talk with them too much. I do have things with the Austrian developer advocates, not the Austrian, sorry, the European developer advocates. And of course, my team lead is in the US, so we have kind of weekly meetings and stuff. Culture-wise, I think the company is great. I really like the product, so this helps a lot. And what can I say about the culture of the company? We have a lot of freedom to focus. Well, at least on the advocacy part. We have a lot of freedom to focus on things that we feel that are interesting. So me as a subject matter expert on the OpenTelemetry field, I can kind of tell my team what is interesting in this area and also push internally the product and the engineers on the OpenTelemetry side and say, hey, there are a lot of discussions on this, so we should try to focus on this and things like that. I kind of feel myself as a customer zero, so to say. So I'm the one doing the things with OpenTelemetry and testing and giving feedback to them before I actually get this feedback from the community. And of course, there are some friction sometimes, but I think that's normal in everywhere when you have different ideas. And every time that happened, I think the agreement was always, we always reach out a good agreement, so to say. So this shows that the culture is actually good, where you can speak up and tell your opinion and kind of show the value that you are bringing to the team, and the team kind of accepts it And sometimes, of course, they implement, sometimes not. But when they don't, they try to explain and elaborate why that decision was made in that way. So that gives me the confidence that to be open and kind of bring more and more, let's say, blind spots, so to say, or things that we need to improve and discuss that. So, yeah.
Also, one last thing. Sorry, just I know we are taking a lot of time, but just the last thing. Like, when we talk about the developer advocacy kind of role, so one thing that always comes into mind that how this thing can, because it's directly impacting the business, right? So how this is connected to the business side? So how the product's growth is connected to the developer advocacy part?
I don't know how to answer that question. Yeah, honestly, what I think myself and a couple of peers of mine, what we try to do is always bring the feedback that we get in the community to the teams, and also share some stats. So like at Conference X, we presented and we had like an audience of, I don't know, 400, 1,000, whatever, folks. We got questions related to this, and this. We got feedback on that feature or whatever that we were asked about on supporting this. So all of that is data that we collect directly from the users back to the team. So I think that's the most valuable thing that we bring. I know that some other companies, they see the developer advocacy as something that bring leads.
Right.
Thankfully, this is not my case. So when I go to a stage and when I present, when I talk to the community, my goal is not sell Datadog. Selling Datadog is from the sales team. It's for the sales team. I'm not part of them. I do advocate on Datadog, but my job is not getting you as a new customer or bringing you as a user. I want to raise awareness of the brand, the platform, and show to them or to the community that we are the best solution to ingest OpenTelemetry data. And when I can do that as a speaker, then I'm kind of also selling the platform, but not selling it. So to say. And I just adding to that, there are some other advocates that focus in other companies that focus more on marketing. We are not like that as well. So I'm happy to not be under marketing or under sales. I'm at Datadog, the community team and the developer advocates are under engineering. So we focus on technical things because our users are developers and technical folks, but most of them. So
yeah, that's so great. Like, thank you so much for breaking this, because every role needs some kind of expertise. Like even if some project or even if some field, like if you're in data and AI, or if you have some kind of other knowledge of specific project, that I totally agree with you. So anything you have to share, you want to share about anything, and then we can wrap it up. And I really love talking to you, and
appreciate the invite, and all the best with the project. One thing that I want to share is if you are using a technology and you feel that the docs are not well established or the steps are not clear, just open a PR clarifying or open an issue on GitHub. So start actually collaborating, because that's how you get into the community. Don't feel afraid of maybe this is too dumb. I don't think there are dumb questions. I think there are no clear path. So if the docs are not clear, it should be improved. And because I think one thing that I like that happened a couple of months ago is that the new user that arrives to the project, they should be able to start the project without getting overwhelmed or like getting lost. If the docs are not doing that, then open a Slack and send a message. Hey guys, I tried to do this and this is a mess. Like, can we improve that somehow? Here are my feedback. And then if you have time, contribute. If not, you already gave your feedback. So hopefully they will take a look and improve on that. So yeah, that's my tip for the...
Yeah, thank you so much for pointing out this point, because that's a really great point, that if something that you weren't able to understand, then just write it down, because it's every time we have a lot of scope to improve, so we can improve, and you are also contributing to just point out something. So it's also the part of contribution as well. So
awesome.
Giuliano, thank you so much for coming, and I really love talking to you. Hope people will also enjoy this podcast, and yeah, thank you so much.
And yeah, if you listen to that and want to connect with me, my LinkedIn is Giuliano Costa 89, or jcosta.dev, and you will land on my page with all the links. So feel free to connect. I'm happy to talk about OpenTelemetry for more than 50 minutes, or like I can talk with Hotel for a month.
Yeah, I can guarantee that. Well, I will mention all the details of Giuliano, all the social media handles and everything, that it will be easy for you all guys to just connect with him. And yeah, and I think Giuliano, you will be happy to help those people who really want to contribute.
Yeah, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help.
Yeah, thank you so much all. So we'll see you soon on the TMS podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye.